Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 most terrifying places you absolutely have to visit. We're talking about locations with stories so bone-chilling they'd make your hair stand on end. Now I've gotten my hands dirty in some pretty unsettling spots in my time, but let me tell you, some places just have a different kind of grime. A residue of fear, sorrow, or maybe something else we just can't explain. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to take a wild ride through the dark side of history and the paranormal. Get ready to explore places where the veil between this world and the next is thin enough to see through, if you're brave enough to open your eyes, that is. You ever walk down the street, minding your own business, and think about what's going on beneath your feet? Well, in Paris, the answer is a whole lot creepier than sewer lines and subway tunnels. Deep beneath the City of Lights, there's a darker city altogether. We're talking about the catacombs of Paris, a labyrinth of tunnels that stretches for miles. And what are these tunnels lined with? Oh, just the skeletal remains of over 6 million Parisians. Imagine wandering through those dimly lit tunnels, the air thick with the weight of centuries and the silence broken only by the drip, drip, drip of water. Each turn you take could bring you face to face with a skull staring blankly back, a chilling reminder of your own mortality. So, if you're ever in Paris and feeling adventurous, take a stroll through the catacombs. But be warned, you might not like who or what you meet down there. Nestled high in the Colorado Rockies, there's a grand old hotel with a sinister reputation. This ain't your average roadside motel, folks. This is the Stanley Hotel, a place that inspired one of the most terrifying horror stories ever told, Stephen King's The Shining. Guests have reported all sorts of strange happenings, lights flickering, disembodied laughter echoing down the hallways, and even the ghostly sound of a piano playing in the dead of night. Some say the hotel is haunted by the spirit of Flora Stanley, the wife of the hotel's founder. Others whisper about room 217, where a housekeeper was nearly killed in an explosion. To this day, people claim to feel a strange presence in that room, like someone, or something, is watching them. Now, I've seen my fair share of creepy crawlies in my time, but nothing quite prepared me for the unsettling sight of Isla de las Muñecas, the Island of the Dolls. Tucked away in the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico, this island is no tropical paradise. Imagine this, you're paddling down a murky canal, the air thick with the smell of stagnant water and something else. And then you see them, hundreds, maybe thousands of dolls, strung up in the trees, their lifeless eyes staring out from beneath layers of grime and decay. These aren't your cute, cuddly childhood toys, folks. These dolls are weathered, broken, and downright disturbing. The story goes that the island's caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera, started hanging the dolls to appease the spirit of a young girl who drowned in the canal. Whether the dolls are guardians or prisoners of their own tragic history, one thing's for sure: a visit to the Island of the Dolls is not for the faint of heart. At the base of the majestic Mount Fuji in Japan, there lies a place shrouded in shadow and sorrow. This is Aokigahara, known by many as the Suicide Forest. The very air in this dense, silent forest seems to hum with a chilling energy. Sunlight struggles to penetrate the thick canopy of trees, casting the forest floor in an eerie, perpetual twilight. Over the years, Aokigahara has become a destination for those seeking to end their lives. It's a tragic and unsettling truth that hangs heavy over the forest, a palpable sadness that seems to cling to the moss-covered trees and the uneven ground. Local legends whisper of yurei, spirits of the dead, said to haunt the forest, their anguish adding to the unsettling atmosphere. Now, when it comes to places with a dark and storied past, the Tower of London is right up there at the top of the list. This ain't just some fancy castle, folks. This place has seen it all. Executions, imprisonments, torture. You name it, it's happened within these stone walls. Over the centuries, the Tower of London has served as a royal palace, a treasury, and even a menagerie. But it's the tower's role as a prison that really sends shivers down my spine. Imagine the weight of all that suffering, all that anguish, soaked into the very stones of the building. One of the most famous residents of the Tower of London was Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII. Now, visitors claim to see her ghostly figure, still dressed in her royal finery, wandering the halls she once walked in life. Deep in the heart of Louisiana, surrounded by Spanish moss and whispering sugarcane fields, stands the Myrtles Plantation. Now this ain't your grandma's charming B&B, folks. This place has a reputation that's darker than a bowl of Louisiana gumbo. They say the Myrtles Plantation is built on a Native American burial ground, and if you ask me, that's just asking for trouble. The house is practically bursting with stories of tragedy, betrayal, and restless spirits. One of the most famous tales is that of Chloe, a slave who worked on the plantation. Legend has it that Chloe was caught poisoning the family and was hanged for her crimes. Visitors claim to have seen her reflection in windows, felt her icy breath on their necks, and even captured her image in photographs. Now, I've been in my fair share of prisons over the years, but there's something uniquely unsettling about Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. This place isn't just old and abandoned, it practically radiates a palpable sense of despair. This former prison was once considered a model of modern incarceration, but behind the imposing walls and the grand architecture, a darker reality played out. Eastern State was known for its harsh conditions, its isolation, and its brutal punishments. The cells were small, cramped, and often freezing cold in the winter. Prisoners were kept in solitary confinement, with little to no human contact. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary stands as a chilling reminder of the human capacity for cruelty and a hotbed of paranormal activity. Ever heard the phrase, "money can't buy happiness"? Well, the Winchester Mystery House is a testament to the fact that money can buy you a whole lot of weirdness. This sprawling Victorian mansion in San Jose, California, is like something straight out of a fever dream. The story goes that Sarah Winchester, the heiress to the Winchester rifle fortune, believed she was cursed by the spirits of those killed by her husband's invention. Desperate to appease these restless souls, she embarked on a bizarre construction project that lasted for 38 years, non-stop. The Winchester Mystery House is a labyrinth of staircases that lead to nowhere, doors that open onto brick walls, and windows that look out on other rooms. Whether that's true or not, one thing's for sure. The Winchester Mystery House is one of the strangest and most unsettling places you'll ever visit. Now, I've slept in my fair share of flea-bitten motels and roadside dives, but if there's one place that would make me choose a park bench over a pillow-top mattress, it's the ancient Ram Inn in Gloucestershire, England. This place is so old it makes Stonehenge look like a new build. Built all the way back in 1145, the ancient Ram Inn has served as everything from a priest's residence to a public house. But don't let the quaint facade fool you, this place has seen its fair share of darkness. They say the inn is built on a pagan burial ground, sensing a theme here. And over the centuries, it's been the site of some pretty gruesome events. Guests have reported all sorts of paranormal activity, from disembodied voices and ghostly apparitions to objects moving on their own. Even if you're not a horror movie buff, chances are you've heard of the Amityville Horror. This unassuming-looking house at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York, became infamous in 1974 when Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family inside. But the horror didn't end there. A year later, the Lutz family moved into the house, only to flee in terror after just 28 days, claiming they had been tormented by paranormal activity so intense, it would make your hair stand on end. Whether you believe the Lutz family's story or chalk it up to mass hysteria, there's no denying that something about the Amityville house just feels off. Well folks, there you have it. 10 of the most haunted, most terrifying, and most downright unsettling places on this planet. We've crawled through catacombs, wandered through haunted forests, and spent the night in some of the most haunted houses in history. If you're brave enough, maybe you'll even work up the courage to visit some of these places yourself. Just remember, you've been warned. Until next time, sleep tight, if you can.